Hello, my name is Savannah Phelan. I serve as the Associate Director of Faith Formation and Partnerships at Messiah Lutheran Church. As Chuck and Tracy have done the last few days, I'm going to be reading a scripture verse from our lectionary, and today I'll be focusing on a psalm. The psalm for today is Psalm 23, which is one I think many of you know well. Today I'll be reading from a translation of the Bible called the Inclusive Bible, which uses all-inclusive language for God. O God, you are my shepherd. I want nothing more. You let me lie down in green meadows. You lead me beside restful waters. You refresh my soul. You guide me to lush pastures for the sake of your name. Even if I am surrounded by shadows of death, I fear no danger, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they give me courage. You spread a table for me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Only goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in your house, O God, for days without end. And I will dwell in your house, O God, for days without end. Sounds a little too familiar, huh? We're going to know that well by the end of those next couple weeks. But in all seriousness, what a perfect verse for us to close out our week together. I read an article earlier today that discussed an idea from a book by Walter Brueggemann that argued that the Psalms are oriented into three different types of movement: orientation, disorientation, and reorientation. Orientation, he explains, is when everything feels content within our lives, when we are filled with joy, awe, and appreciation of the world around us and our place within it. Disorientation, on the other hand, is when life is difficult, and those moments when we experience times of upheaval, brokenness, and grief. And finally, reorientation is when God pulls us out of our brokenness and we are brought to a deeper sense of awareness and gratitude. In Psalm 23, we see a little bit of all three of these movements. In the course of what has felt like an impossibly short amount of time, we have been thrown into this disorienting new reality around us, filled with uncertainty and disappointment. I'm sure I am not alone in feeling entirely overwhelmed by it all. And though we are distancing each other out of an act of neighborly care, separation is no easy task. But as we are reminded time and time again, and so compassionately in this particular psalm, we all belong to a God who offers reorientation and renewal, a God who refreshes our souls. And amidst all the news and craziness of the last week, I felt this too. Strangely, though we are apart, I have felt a stronger sense of community with Messiah and with the wider church body than ever before. It's as if something about our universal vulnerability in this virus has allowed us to understand how much we belong to one another, how we are all part of one body. And it is comforting, but it is also heightening our awareness of the many ways in which we as a community are already unwell. How the structures and systems of society are so broken that choosing to shut down schools means leaving thousands of our children without meals, or how quickly a couple weeks without work will devastate the lives of many of our neighbors. It is harder to listen when we are busy, when our lives are oriented and comfortable and convenient. During this time, when everything is turned on its head, my hope for myself and for all of us is that we take a deep breath, that we remember to trust and take comfort in the endless love of our God, and finally, that we allow the realities of what we are witnessing to reorient us to be ever more compassionate followers of Christ. So I will leave you with that, but I hope you all have a wonderful, restful weekend, and we will be back again on Monday with our next devotional.